What is going on, everybody? Welcome. It's been a minute. I have been very, very busy doing various things, but that doesn't mean that I haven't been playing a ton of 2K. We are going to cover a couple of things, pretty big topics. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer video. It's not really going to be any nonsense. I'm going to be offering up pretty much some sobering analysis, both on the recent patch update. Obviously, a lot of discussion around that. I'll tell you what my opinion of it is and sort of the experience. And also just kind of corroborating what I'm kind of seeing out there being discussed. And then also just Season 2 and some of my thoughts around that and some things to kind of think about that I don't think are really kind of touched up on anywhere, at least some discussion points, and I'm definitely going to dive into some things. For those that are new to the channel, a lot of the people that are watching this are already users of the Synthbangers website. I've actually gotten back more into posting on X. It's a horrible platform. Not a big fan of the person owning it or what it's used for, but it's where the 2K community is kind of very feverishly discussing what's going on in the game right now. A lot of it is filled with a lot of rage bait, and so I find a tool like this that I built to be, very good for kind of drawing your own conclusions, doing your own analysis. You can see that we have added the Rainmakers set. As you can see, Wilt Chamberlain, Jaren Jackson Jr., Devin Booker are really the featured cards of the set. And you can see, Nafisa Collier, even 48.98. That's actually a pretty good score for a WNBA player. Really, Jaren Jackson Jr., I actually do have this card, believe it or not, but not in the way that you think. He is actually a free agent card that I kind of gave a spin with last night. You can see he's got 2 games left. He was one of these free agent cards that you get from playing Breakout or any of these rewards that get thrown out. It's a pretty decent card. I mean, if you think back to 2K25, this was actually an elite diamond card. I don't feel the same way about it. Kind of playing him for about 3 games. And unfortunately, in the auction house right now, because the market and the scarcity of elite cards is really more of on the extreme end this year, this card, unfortunately, is going for something like $500,000 MT for a diamond. We did kind of see stuff like that with the Paolo Banchero card last year, and that was well more deserved. I'm not sure if this is really in that same class. I mean, and the big real reason is that his hot zones, he doesn't hit threes the same way. The release is very similar to the one he had last year. But I think the real reason why this card is going for as much as it is we basically got a completely different game in the new patch. And in terms of his attributes, he's going to be very elite at the interior defense, rebounding, speed for a diamond. He is literally one of the best diamond cards in the game. If you were actually to filter it, you go back to all cards, you go to diamond, you will see by power forward center, boom, he's basically right there. Boris Diaw, 59.73. So to be completely honest, the game has changed so much in the patch. It has basically forced my hand to have to update the model probably this weekend. I'm going to have to make a lot of changes because, I'm anticipating I'm going to have to make changes to the model because shooting's nerfed. And I guess we can go ahead and just kind of get into it. But just like on the Rainmaker front, it's really just no secret. You get some good cards. A lot of people are very upset about the fact that Devin Booker is not going to be nearly as elite because of the shooting, and that is absolutely true. And even if you look at his shooting here, it's like a pretty good 3-ball at 94 for a pink diamond, though. I want to see a little bit higher, but it's going to be harder, man. It's going to be harder. And, so let me kind of tell you a story of kind of where things are, just taking a step back and discussing the deployment of the patch. So to give you guys an idea, I have not played Season 2 yet. I decided to record this video first. You can see I was placed in Tier 7. I wouldn't call myself an elite showdown player quite yet, but I'm very good. I got pretty close to getting to tier 2. I'm regularly playing tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 players, and I was smoking people pretty well. I mean, not an elite, again, not at like a 75%, 80% clip, but I was decent, like solid somewhere between 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, something to that effect. And I was actually a big fan of the announcement for a multitude of reasons. The first really being that, you know, if you play Showdown pretty consistently, and I imagine this applies to Park as well, any kind of online mode where shooting fades, I mean, everybody knew it. It was the meta. Like, you basically do a pull-up fade. You had Klay Thompson with a shifty shooter. You just run in transition, get in that corner, and just bomb threes. It's a lot of high-scoring offense. You just shot your shot, and that's just how it is. And the fact that, like shooting, like stick shooting, and being able to green well-timed shots that really just kind of open the floodgates for Zenners on Xbox. Anytime I see an Xbox player online, I just roll my eyes super hard. I'm not saying everybody who has an Xbox is a cheater, obviously, but let me tell you, I've run into it multiple times. I could tell you about how my KOTC run was ended by Billionaire Boy K, some guy on the Showdown leaderboard who is 99-2 with somehow averaging 4.2 points per game. That's a whole other topic. But so, I was actually not really going to have a whole lot of time to play the new patch when it got deployed because me and my wife, we were going to drive out to Austin, go check out a music gig. But I did get to play a couple of games, and this was on day one. So what happened was I played a couple of games. I think I won the first one, and it was pretty close on the second one. And it was very evident right away that like the shooting and the dynamics in the feel of the game had changed, right? And keep in mind, this is before everybody started running to the streets, giving their opinion about what they thought of the patch, right? So fast forward, drive out to Austin, check out a really cool show, a band I really love. I got to stay out there for about a day. It was kind of a nice mental break from 2K, especially since Season 1 was kind of winding down. Came back, I checked Twitter, and Jesus Christ, just the flood of rage bait and opinions and takes about the game. This is the worst 2K ever. Some people were saying like the game is now balanced. Defense is better. Dribbling is ruined. Shooting is ruined. You get the idea. The problem with kind of assessing anything on a community on Twitter or X or anywhere on social media is that rage bait is just rewarded, and a lot of it was very clearly rage bait. That's the game that's being played, but behind that there are some very good points that are being made. So for somebody like myself who has a very strong mind and opinion, and I love to discover and find out information for myself to the extent that I built an entire website trying to figure out how good cards are, I wanted to figure out what the truth was. So I was like, all right, well, I played a couple of games. Things feel much better in terms of you're not getting spammed fade cheese. That was a big W in my book. That needed to happen, right? Coming back, so that evening I spent a good 4 or 5 hours just playing Showdown. And because I was away for a couple of days, all of the content creators, all of the people who were, that play the game all day, who are scouring for opinions, who are digging deep, they had already deployed what the impact of the changes were. And because of that, by the time I logged in 2 days later, I kid you not, out of the somewhere between 8 and 10 games that I played, the amount of paint spamming and rim running was absolutely absurd. Some players, I had one game where a guy had over 40 of his points scored in the paint and only shot like 1 or 2 threes the entire game. If you were used to doing something like 2-3 zone, 3-2 zone, set defenses, tweaking your settings, going over screens, those days are done. I found from playing in a lot of tier 1, 2, 3 players online that your best bet a lot of the time, I'm not saying all the time, but a lot of the time is that you're going to have to be deploying half-court press type defense, disrupting transition, limiting transition, which you should be already doing anyway a lot of the time, depending on the style of play, of course. But because you're playing against elite players, these aren't people who, take multiple plays to figure out what you're doing like it is with the lower tier players. Everybody is playing a very fast, dynamic chess match from possession to possession and adapt very quickly. And so my message to everybody is that shooting is definitely nerfed. You can still shoot, and, you just got to get the muscle memory in. But it's going to be more on open looks, setting your feet, making sure that you get solid screens, set plays, running your shit, and you're going to be fine. But you are absolutely going to be forced to learn how to defend on the interior, play defense, stop rim running, and honestly, the roster and lineup construction of your lineups has to change. On this screen, you'll see I got Derek McKee. I actually did something very rare last night. I cracked open a 51 box of Wild Gems. I know I published another video doing the same thing, but that was to get Caitlin Clark because, again, I wanted to discover how good this card was. I didn't do a video on it, but this card fucking cooks. She is phenomenal in terms of scoring, moving. Yes, she's 6 feet tall, but she's got physical finisher. She is an elite shooter. If you can play with her and move around, it actually throws people off quite a bit online because, again, people think like the herd and they don't think that this card is good. But if you know how to use her, you can absolutely beat players. And I absolutely fucking did. But so what I wanted to say about this, though, is that it's going to force you to change your lineup. Previously, I had an Amethyst Chuck Person card who was great to stretch the floor with Jack Sigma because shooting threes was just the meta, right? I basically, you have to improve your interior defense. So we have, Andrew Wiggins in here. You got Zion, Derek McKee. Still got big Brad Daugherty. Perfect example of somebody who has brick wall, good interior defense. That's the kind of stuff you're going to be shifting towards. So the game has definitely changed. A lot of people are really angry about it. I found it to be frustrating at times because I'm going up against somebody, and before I really figured things out what was happening, it then became very obvious to me that people were consuming all the new meta techniques, and quite frankly, you have to adjust to how the game is played. So I put in 213 hours into Season 1, basically playing over 200 hours of a different game, and that is exactly what is going to be happening here. You're going to be playing a completely different game. And and I'm not so mad about the Season 2 stuff, to be honest. I'm less mad about it. But what I will say is that people are absolutely correct. Let's take a look at the Season 2 rewards. The Season 2 rewards, and I tweeted about this, I was so excited to see the Sidney Moncrief card. He was absolutely phenomenal last year. It was part of that 80 set, 47-11. There is not a single card in here that is over a 50 metascore. They absolutely nerfed these cards. And my theory about that is basically it is a forcing function to do this, which not do that, but go to the exchange. And I already put these in progress because I thought that maybe they would go away in Season 1, but they're not. It is these, Wild Gems exchange cards. And because I had a bunch of golds, I put a bunch of them into Joel Embiid. Am I going to get Joel Embiid anytime soon? Probably not. But Joel Embiid is the best pink diamond in the game. Ahead of Wemby, I think. I have not seen that card, obviously, because he's a hidden gem. And yes, he's 7'4", 7'5". Some people think he's 7'6" in real life. He's growing like crazy, but hey, this is exactly the kind of player that you probably want in your lineup now. This was not a requirement in the previous season. When I saw any of these Wild Gems in the lineup pre-patch, it was usually a tell that the guy was going to get fucking cooked. honestly, the lineups that scared me the most, Chris Paul, Marcus Camby, Pascal Siakam, those kind of cards, those kind of lineups. That Chris Paul is because people exploit that midi fade in his movement despite being 6 feet tall. Almost kind of similar to Caitlin Clark, but, way more gettable. So, yeah, Season 2 rewards, not great. Does it mean that I'm not going to play Season 2, which is what some people are rage baiting and claiming online? No, of course not. I'm still going to play, and I'm still going to really enjoy it. Because the reason is I am having such a good time playing online, playing Showdown, learning how to get better, learning how to adapt, learning how to get over my own limitations. That's actually what's keeping me in the game right now. I could care less about, the grindable stuff as much as some people. I think it's just a long-term pattern that 2K has had, that they will roll something out that's a big win, like the All-Star event last year, and then they'll figure out a way to monetize it, and then they will squeeze out every drop of blood from your enjoyment of the game. And to be honest, it's just part of the reality of being part of Take-Two. I could show you a screenshot of what their board of directors looked like. These are people that do not care about you or me. So I'm just going to continue to enjoy the game. I'm going to absolutely continue updating the website. I will be updating the website with some good changes this weekend, including a big model update. Let me know what you guys think of the comments. Again, I'm going to enjoy Season 2. I've been looking forward to it. The game is different. I explained to you what I kind of think of the patch update. The fact that, so the Season 2 content, while not a little underwhelming, and the fact that Jaren Jackson Jr. is going for $500,000, it's like, what are you going to do, right? What other basketball game are you going to play? It's going to be this one. And I do want to say that, some silver lining in this, I do think Mike Wang and Evan, and to some extent Ronnie 2K, I actually don't even put Ronnie 2K in these kind of conversations because he really doesn't, he's not responsible for any decision making, really. He's just kind of a marketing face, right? And I think to some extent, Mike Wang is to some point. I don't even know if he does actual development these days. He probably just oversees a lot of things and shows up once in a while. But I actually have a lot of respect for these guys, taking the feedback, sifting through it, and trying to find the signal and the noise. And I don't, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys can correct me in the comments, but I don't remember them making this much of an effort to change the game. I mean, clearly it was a huge game-changing patch, whether you like it or not. And they even reverted the dribbling stuff 2 days later. So that to me is a positive signal that, yes, they are listening. They're trying to iterate on the game. They're trying to make it better. But some of these people need to chill online. We all know that you're just farming likes. It's it's not 2020 anymore, people. We need real content. We need actual live discussions of maturity and these kind of things. And that's just it's just how I feel about things. But my plan is I'm gonna go ahead and just play the shit out of this Showdown. I'm probably gonna try to get to 200 wins. I got to about 83 or something. I was just grinding way too much breakout and just offline stuff. But that's pretty much it. Again, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Check out the website. You can find all the Rainmakers and Season 2 stuff on there, and we'll get some things working. I am actually going to add information about the releases, and it'll be very easy to sift through and find and do some player comparison stuff too. So hopefully that's a lot more useful, and you'll see the model change based on more favorably towards interior style play, interior defense, strength. Shooting will probably get nerfed a little bit. Probably some changes with the WNBA players again. It's been a tough one to nail down, and I think that's actually been deprioritized a little bit from 2K from what I understand. So I'll see y'all later. Take it easy.